Hi, people, brothers and sisters of the realm. I do like to think about that, like of the what is it, the Knights of the Round Table, but not that. That's not what I'm saying. I want to think of, but the realm. In other words, belonging to the kingdom of God. That realm is what I'm talking about. You know, pretty cool. In my imagination, it's cool anyway. Put it that way. I do like to get carried away sometimes. So this is Lou, and today is right now it's like at the ending of Memorial Day, Monday, the 26th of May. We went out shopping, me and Jess, earlier today. Um, Headed to Walmart. See, we don't go to Walmart very much, but we did head over there today. But then, and this was fairly early in the day, but they were evidently setting up for a parade. So we had to go a long ways around, a roundabout. And I feel like I've got hairs on my face, which I probably do. Seems like I can't. I know, look at they're everywhere. Anyway, um, to all those who have served, thank you. To all those who have sent your children off to serve, you know, no one can thank you enough. And I really wish that we didn't have war and what's coming in the next life, the millennium. There won't be any war until the end. And I don't understand that either, but it's not for me to wonder. Let's see, it's not for you to wonder why, it's for you to do or die. That's not funny either, is it? But anyway, no, just with what I've been reading lately, um, I know a lot of people, including myself, get all confused. Especially, I mean, if you're really endeavoring and trying, you gotta pray. You gotta pray for assistance so that you will have what we would call revelation. Yeah, I've got the window open and I don't know. That might have been a helicopter. It didn't really sound like a helicopter. Anyway, um, I get distracted and away I go. Anyway, there's a whole lot of all kinds of things that I could probably share forever and a day if I wanted to. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. But if I keep finding interesting things, and then if I can figure out how to keep myself organized, and then maybe I can make little shorts instead of all my long ones. However, I think the long ones are good. Just depends on what you want to spend your time doing. Music is great, so we can listen to music. But if you ever feel like it, you could also just, put your earbuds in and listen to me. You never know what I might say that will be of worth to you. That's what I'm really trying to say. Okay, it's not just that I might say something shocking or anything, but although if you're not aware, it is kind of shocking to realize that Jesus Christ, there's a lot of things about him. He's the Son of God, but then he is God. So that's a confusing one. And I've been going to look up the word conundrum. And I keep forgetting to do that. And now I've got this. I decided a little bit ago anyway, and I could change my mind. That's one thing about being me. You got to be flexible, okay? You might head off in a certain path, but then you might take a little detour. Because what I was thinking I would read to you guys today is the Articles of Faith. And I would have to tell you what that means. And I was looking here to see if I would find the Wentworth letter, because I think, see, what was going on was way back when. You got to think about way back when, I'm not sure what year Joseph Smith got killed. But anyway, in the 1830s, okay, we'll just put it at that time frame. There's a whole lot of shaking going on. Revival, religious revival, all these preachers trying to get everybody to join their church, and they're all teaching different things. And then you find out later what it really boils down to is they're teaching doctrines of men, not of God. You know, because they want to satisfy the people that's coming to their, you know, come over here with me. So they want to give them some stuff that, you know what I'm trying to say? Because I did just say it. And I'm not going to say that I'm guilty like that, but you know, I do have my vices. But just because you have a couple of vices does not mean that you don't believe in God. It does not mean that you don't believe in Jesus. And it does not mean that you have to stop yourself from gaining knowledge. I know I keep wanting to take these things off. In 1 minute I want to read, and the next minute I just want to talk. And it is true, I never really know exactly where I'm headed when I start. I might have an intention, but I also do not hold myself to that, as I'm sure you guys have witnessed. It took me forever to read about the millennium. It took me forever to actually get to it and read about the millennium. And then it took me forever to get through all those parts. I thought there were just 16 parts, but there were 18. It's just that the numbers were small, kind of like the print, so you didn't really see it until you got right up on top of it. Got a little bit of a sore throat, but I'm sure it's because of a vape pen, you know, because you're sucking this stuff that's been heated up into your lungs and down in your mouth, down your throat, into your lungs. I know, don't say don't keep saying There are all these little habits that we have, you know, and is one of them. And you know is another one. I just said it before too. I mean, I will say that a lot. So, what would I do here? Because if I just give you the Articles of Faith, I kind of need to give you a lean into it. You know, the stuff that I've been telling you guys about is about the restoration of the gospel to the earth happened through Joseph Smith. And there's a whole lot that was going on. Not just, I told you a whole lot of shaking was going on while I was about the revival and all those churches, and all kinds of hell broke loose, all kinds of stuff over beliefs in Jesus Christ. It's just that there's some bad folks out there, and there's evil afoot. Satan don't want this church. He don't want this church happening. He don't want people to be helped, you know, as in their spiritual well-being. I know, I talk a bunch, and I get hot and I get cold, so I'm taking my sweater off, and next thing you know, I'll be putting it back on. Anyway, so today was Veterans Day. No, it wasn't. It was Memorial Day, but there were a lot of veterans involved. Yeah, we went to Walmart, but we had to take a long way around because we couldn't get to Main Street. We couldn't go to Main Street because that's where the parade was going to be. So everything was being blocked off and people were parking and walking around and stuff. So hopefully everybody had a great day. When we came back from Walmart and we came and got closer to her house and stuff, there's a park over there. And I imagine the park is right off of Main Street, okay? But so they had something, I don't know, but there were a lot of, I guess I want to say military type people, you know, in their uniforms, looking pretty spiffy, and a lot of flags all over the place, and at this park. It's a real nice park, and it's really close to Jesse's, not bad. In fact, we should go over there and visit that park because it's just a lovely little place. You know what I mean? Grass, trees, there's some cannons over there. But just a nice, lovely place to go walk. And I need to do that. So that's what I need to do, is just aim to that park and do that. And right now I'm hot. I've got a fan in the window, but I've got it turned off. The minute I turn it on, I'm going to get cold. All right, so I don't know if it's in here, and I mentioned it already. The Wentworth letters, I don't know. I don't have all my facts about it. And I did get a book called that, but I don't know where it's at now. It's probably in my car in front of Nancy's house. That was really what I took from Mom and Dad's stuff, was books. And then last July I took, I didn't know what I was doing, okay? I didn't know I wasn't going to be there, and I asked Dad if I could take a certain picture. So there was a, I don't know if it was a painting, but it was something. It was a big picture on the wall of trees. And it wasn't just a picture, there was texture to it. But I really liked that. And I was going through pictures yesterday trying to delete some stuff because I got my phone is just chock full. So I've been trying to make room for me to be, because now I can't even get it to, I text with one finger and I couldn't get it to do that. I couldn't get my touch to move anything, and maybe I was cold, you know, because it has to be warm, right? But I don't think so. When I knocked it real hard, it actually worked, but I finally just put on the microphone, talked into the microphone. Was the only way I could get any words to go across there. But a friend of mine told me that maybe if I delete some stuff, but see, I have been. But I've got 1,000 videos now, and I know I'm crooked here. So, last I knew anyway, I had made it to 1,000, and I did not make a video today, I'm pretty sure. I believe I sat out in the sun. I did. I sat out in the sun for a little bit, maybe a half an hour. And it was later in the afternoon. It was between 1 and 2, 1:30 and 2. Okay, so I told you about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was restored to the earth through Joseph Smith. Okay, so he translated those plates into a book and was able to, I mean, the wherewithal to get a book published, can you imagine? And I don't remember now his exact age, but I'm thinking right around 20-ish, 20, 21, 22, somewhere in there. So he has translated these golden records, these golden plates, through the use of a Urim and Thummim, which constitutes seers, and it's in the Bible. It's in the Old Testament. It talks about the Urim and Thummim, and there's not just one. There have been several, because they have been created to translate a certain book, so certain languages. So, like the Book of Ether. The Book of Ether was 24 gold plates that were found. And I don't know how they found them, but they found them. And so no one knew that language. So they had no idea what it said. But they knew that there was a great civilization that was no more. In other words, they were destroyed too. But they weren't destroyed right away. Because it's kind of like, you'll find it a lot in the Book of Mormon, and I don't know, I imagine it everywhere. But, you know, people can only stay good so long. They just seem to say, you know, can't stay good forever. It's not funny either, but it's the truth. We be going along and we be trying hard. We're doing good, right? And then we get a little lackadaisical. You know that word? It means lazy. But we get a little bit complacent. You know that word? That's one we should look up. But it's like, you just get used to the status quo. And you don't bother trying to do better. You know, because we are here to achieve. We're not here to be stagnant. And when we have done all we can for ourselves, and not even just when, because, I don't know, I'm just such a preacher. When you find out what your purpose in life is, okay, your big thing is to live like Jesus and to help other people. What is it they say? I won't get my words exactly right, but charity is the pure love of Christ. That's exactly how that is. Charity, the pure love of Christ. So, say you've been blessed and you've got all kinds of stuff. I mean, you're not wanting for anything. And then you see people out there that need. So are you just going to shun them? And you think God's going to be happy with that? No. It doesn't mean give them everything you got or anything like that, but you know, you can help out. Sometimes we can help out by saying, okay, what are your skills? And, oh, I know someone who needs that. Or maybe a part-time job for a smidgen, you know. Come clean up my yard. Help me haul stuff away. Help me do things that I can't do for myself. Because you'll find there's a lot of older people who can't move furniture. You know, just moving things around in the house, and maybe a deep cleaning or something once in a while. There are things that we can busy ourselves doing for our family members. I mean, if we just tend to our family, and then if you see others that need. And the thing is, and I'm guilty, we don't like to ask for help. And then if you do muster up, I don't know what it would be, the nerve, the courage, or whatever to ask for help, then they don't always realize exactly how bad you need that help. You know, it's just like, oh, skin off of their teeth, they don't know. And the person that needs the help doesn't want to ask. And I've been there. And sometimes there's just no one to ask. But I tell you what, the church is really great. They will help. The missionaries help. They don't make you join the church in order for them to help you out, but they do service projects. They help people. I mean, if you watch my videos from it, when I was still a dad, the church that he went to, the ward he went to, came out and worked in his yard, cleaned up his yard, cut down the tops of rose bushes, took care of things that were overgrown, and hauled stuff away. And there was a lot of stuff. It was crazy. There was totes outside on the side of the house that had been there for a long, long time. Had turned brittle from being out there, and there was this, I don't even know what was in those totes. If, some things, but then other things were empty, we'll say. Nothing of worth or value except for just stuff looking caca. So they took several pickup loads to the waste management plant. So for that sounds like septic. Now, where the garbage trucks come and they pick up your garbage and then they haul it over to a place. And it could even be in a humongous building to where they just got a pit they're throwing stuff in or something. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been checking that out. But just saying, I guess I'm older now too. You just don't realize how much a helping hand means to somebody. And you really don't realize what's coming. I can remember my mother saying, "This is going to happen to you too." And I'm going, "Why would you say that to me?" Well, she probably just couldn't help herself. She was feeling miserable. But I'm not looking forward to that day when I'm in that same position. And it's coming. It's coming for all of us. Unless we get killed early, like in an accident or something. So anyway, back to this Articles of Faith. I don't know who it was that was asking, but they wanted to know what we believe, okay? Whoever it is, powers that be, the Wentworth letter was all about this. And maybe the Articles of Faith came from that Wentworth letter. But it was to tell somebody, and it might have been in the newspaper, what we believe, So that's what these 13 Articles of Faith are. And they're pretty important. So maybe I'm going to read them. And I guess I'll probably, like normal, I'll stop and elaborate. And I got hair everywhere. The prophet Joseph Smith wrote these, okay? I wonder if it says that at the bottom. Let's see. At the very bottom it says Joseph Smith. Okay. So I'm just going to read it, and it'll be like an experiment or something. And I got to put my sweater back on. I have a cold. And I know I could take that fan. It's not on, okay, but I've got a fan in the window, so the window's open. Oh, maybe I'll just leave it hanging off. I gotta shut the window. It won't take but a second. Okay. All right, good job. All right, there. goodness, I need to get myself together. You know, like, go through my stuff, like I've said before. And I think, I'm not sure, nothing is set in stone, but I'm thinking that my sister, Nancy, is going to help me drive my car. Now, she was talking to my daughter anyway, and she was suggesting that she could drive my car and for us to meet her in Ohio. But I was saying, you know, I was thinking about getting a plane ticket and going back. That's a long ways to drive, even to Ohio, because you're talking about being on the West Coast, up by Seattle. But nevertheless, it might be that I'll fly there and me and Nancy will. And what she was going to do, she's bringing, and not was, probably still is, but she's bringing her daughter to see her longtime beau. He was her beau, but he moved away. And so they just are. And also, both her children were friends with Chris, so they're going to go see him in Ohio. So really try to figure it out. And she said, you know, because she wasn't thinking about me coming and riding with her. So she might come all the way. That's what I told her. I said, I thought I heard her say that she wanted to come out here. But of course, a plane ticket is a lot faster than driving that many days and having to have hotel rooms. And so I don't know. I've got to do some serious praying and thinking and figuring out. But because, see, you know what, I've been telling you guys what I need to do. I need to go to Downs and take care of my house. And I actually need to go to my place in Colorado. And there's things that need to be done there too. And it's hard. It's really hard to be by yourself and do it. You know, like there's some things that need to be done that'll make life a little bit easier in the wintertime. And you need to do it before it gets too damn hot. And it does that. It's just like right now. Right now here is cold. Not that long ago it was pretty warm. But the point is it'll come and go, come and go, come and go. Stop. It's going to be hot. Same thing. 115 degrees. I know Arizona's horrid, but I mean, that sounds similar to me. Because I don't live in Arizona. I know that I've been there at the end of May and I couldn't stand it. So, you know, time is coming. Just like the wintertime. When the wintertime is coming, you can't really do a lot because it's too dadgum cold. And not just cold, but so it snows. And then you get, where I was living, you get mud. You get stuck. In other words, if you know some bad weather's coming, you better be getting yourself some groceries and being prepared to be stuck. And then we had to go get water at the well. And we were getting water for cows and goats. Whatever else we had. We had one horse and some chickens, a lot of goats, and a lot of cows. Anyway, about broke me. Did break me. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Don't get bigger than your britches. I'm not talking about gaining weight. I'm talking about the fact that, you know, you can have a good thing, but then you can take it to an extreme and then it's a bad thing. Meaning, it could have been so much easier. We took care of, like say we had a boy, a girl, and a baby cow. That's just 3. Well, at the end of our thing, we had 15. There were a lot of big ones. Those little ones and big ones too. But it just costs a fortune to feed them. And then they're big. So I mean, if they get a hankering to get out of the fence, all they gotta do is push it down. Push it down. They can get down under the barbed wire and go right through that fence. I mean, so I don't know. Anyway, it's a lot easier to take care of a few than a lot. And 15 is a lot. And then we didn't do everything we were supposed to. Like, you know, we had a bull. We had 2 bulls out there. One was a kid, but he was a bull, and he had grown big. And so he wanted to go somewhere. He went somewhere. You didn't stop him. So beautiful, those cows. We had some beautiful cows. I know, I think all my stuff is beautiful, but it was. Anyway, I just wished I'd have known better than what I did. Some things you just learn by experience. Sad. Because we didn't have to do that. We did not have to go broke feeding those animals. You know, take 15 cows versus 3. Oh my. I don't know if you ever look up cows. A beef master is a wonderful. They're docile, kind of, sort of. I think if I'm remembering right, they're kind of docile. So you don't got to worry. Well, you do if it's a bull. Because that bull's protecting his girls and he don't care who you are. You're in the wrong place if you're in that field. Our bull, we got him at 2 weeks old. Joe fed him. I mean, we both did, okay. But Joe did the major part of feeding them their bottles. But like I said, we both did. But they didn't give a rip who Joe was. They didn't think that bull chased him. I didn't see it, okay? Joe told me about it. But the bull chased him around the barn. I can just picture it. And that bull was big. He was over 2,000 pounds. And Joe's this little person. And Joe was his mama. He didn't give a rip, man. You're in my field. Get out of it. Oh. Anyway, so what else? I think when we sold our goats, I was going to say the wrong number, I'm sure. Surely it wasn't. I was starting to say we had 61. We either 31 or 61 goats, okay? Sold them all to the same person. They came and hauled them away. And I felt bad about a lot of that stuff, but I mean, I really did feel bad when we sold our cows. We had one that was kind of blind, and she had just had a baby. And then we had another one that was fixing to have a baby any day. And I wanted to keep those 2, but oh no. A certain person said, take them all. And I can still see that cow looking at me today. I mean, right now, I can see her eyes looking at me like, what are you doing? You know, because we had to take them to a livestock place. And they went in and were auctioned off. So they all got separated. And you know, and it's kind of like your family, even though they're your meat. But I really hated that day. I hated that day. And also that day I got kind of, the neighbors, they're the ones with the equipment and the know-how and all that stuff. So our neighbor that we had bought hay from forever came and helped us. Him and his person that worked with him came and helped us get our cows together and take them into town. And so I don't know if you know about these, I've talked about cattle panels before, but the ones I was talking about before is a thin wire. I mean, they're strong, but it's a thin wire. But I'm talking now the about 2 inches, we'll say about a 2 inch. That's the metal. And so these are gates, okay? So I'm trying to hold a gate in place. It's not tied. I'm just trying to hold it there. And they've got the cows coming out trying to load into a trailer. And so you know good and well one of those is trying to come right through me. I mean, I'm just holding this thing. And it's not funny because what happened was, I don't know how to explain it exactly, but raw metal was poking out. So let me just, I don't know if I can draw it, up, over, and down, okay? And then you put that sideways. But the point is that was aiming at me, and a cow was coming through. And you know where that went? It went right into my chest, where the breast cancer turned up. I don't know if they tell you the truth or what their deal is, but my surgeon said that could have started it. They also said I could have had cancer for years and years and years, and just now it showed up. But that was traumatic because that cow, which wasn't a full-grown cow, but still was probably around 700 pounds or so, was trying to knock through that gate, which it wasn't attached to anything, so it knocked into me. Anyway, did I give you a good enough demonstration? and the terrible thing is that metal was sticking out. It was a piece of metal sticking out, and it just went right into my chest. All right. So anyway, I don't know why I started talking about that. Oh, my babies. We had chickens, and we had goats, and we had cows, and we had dogs, and we had only one horse. And we didn't set out to get him. In other words, some people that wanted our goats brought the horse with them and did a horse and a goat trade. And we were stupid. We didn't know any better, and we just did it. And it just caused us a hell of a lot of problems. Anyway, that's enough of that. And I got to quit using bad words, right? Don't use bad words. I need to eat some food. I'm not sure what I've had to eat today. Really, I'm not. I did wash dishes, though. I think I had a cup of coffee, and then we went to the store, and then we came home, and then I don't know what we did after that. Anyway, okay, so I was going to read to you about this, but maybe I won't because I'm already at 40 minutes. I'll just have it for sometime real soon. Because what it is 13 different statements that say what we believe. And Joseph Smith is the one who wrote it. And so I'm pretty sure, well, I'm not really sure, but the Wentworth letter, I got a feeling, went into the newspaper. It went into something to where everybody got to see it. And the church did have a printing press for doing the Book of Mormon, I think. I don't know how that worked out. I'm going to have to go do church history or something. Because After he got it translated, then he had to figure out how to get it printed. And I want to say Martin Harris loaned him the money. I don't know if he loaned it or if he donated it. He might have donated the money that it took to print a certain amount of copies. Anyway, it was pretty wonderful when you look back at it. You just have to, like I've said before, line upon line, precept upon precept, things happen and then things happen, and it's like this ball that's rolling and it gets bigger and bigger. So first there's a first vision, and that's God and Jesus telling Joseph Smith, not just telling him, showing him, because they appeared to Joseph out in the woods. And his purpose in that going out there and praying was to find out what church to join. And they told him not to join any of them. And then I don't know what all they told him, because it does say that they told him some stuff. But see, then after that comes Angel Moroni. Angel Moroni came and appeared to Joseph, and he came and saw him every year. Went to where the golden plates were deposited in this stone box on the side of a mountain, the hill Cumorah. I do get distracted. But so, I don't have all my wherewithals. I don't have all my facts. There was a whole lot of revelations going on. And that's what the Pearl of Great Price is. Doctrine and Covenants. Not Pearl of Great Price, the Doctrine and Covenants. That is the book, that is the revelations from while they were translating the plates and the different things, because they would come across things that they didn't understand or whatever, and they'd go out and pray about it, and then they'd learn some more. But I can tell you right now, I need to go eat. I just have to have a cracker or two. You see, that's kind of what I think I had earlier, was a cracker. Yeah, I didn't eat before we left. So I've been kind of busy all day. Much to do about nothing. Right? Well, I'm getting sick, so I'm going to have to go do something. I wanted to start this, but I think I'll just do it on its own. And I've already been talking a bunch, but you guys will know it's coming. And it is kind of interesting. The very first one, we believe in God, the eternal Father, and in His Son, Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Ghost. That's the first article of faith. This one, this number 2, is really good. And I think some people get confused and they get all mad about Adam. Okay, so number 2, we believe that men will be punished for their own sins and not for Adam's transgression. Okay? You'll be punished for what you do, not what he did. Number 3, we believe that through the atonement of Christ, all mankind may be saved by obedience to the laws and ordinances of the gospel. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, but there's 13, and I just read you 3. But I am going to get off here so I can go find something to appease my body, my head, because I can feel it saying, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you eaten? So take care, people. I haven't had a lot of sleep the last 2 nights, and I did, while we were at Walmart today, I did get some of the melatonin gummies. They really help. They help a lot. And I haven't had any. And then I had some melatonin pills, but evidently they didn't work too good. So I got 2 hours of sleep night before last, 2 hours. And then last night, I'm just not sure. I might have slept a couple different times for a couple hours. I can't remember. Oh, good, there's crackers right there. So you people, take care. Linda, you know I'm addicted to this stuff, meaning my videos. I don't know that I'm going to be able to quit. However, I'm just saying, the time will come. And I have given you 1,000. Not you, but all of you. There's 1,000 videos. And some of them are really good. Maybe even all of them are really good. Just depends on who's needing what I'm giving that day, you know. And like I said, I haven't been real good at hashtagging and letting people know what's in the video. I need to do that better. But things will be all right. Things will be okay. So you guys take care. And I'll see you soon. Like I said, the books and stuff that I got, they're at Nancy's. I don't have them. And I think that Wentworth letter might have been a little like a pamphlet book or something. Maybe a little bit more than a pamphlet, but it was a small book. So, you know. You know what I mean. Jelly bean. All right, you guys take care. And I think I am going to try to go to bed and go to sleep. So I won't do it anymore until tomorrow. Good night.